My boss telling me no. But my HubSpot's telling me yes. LinkedIn, I don't want to hurt nobody, but there is something I must confess. I don't see nothing wrong with a little AI. I don't see nothing wrong, LinkedIn. Hey, I don't see nothing wrong with a little AI. I don't see nothing wrong. Good morning, LinkedIn. If you've never heard the song Bump and Grind, you probably wonder what the hell just happened. If you have, I hope you enjoyed it. Happy HubSpot Hump Day Wednesday. Welcome to Let's Build Daily. I'm your host, Chris Carolyn. We're talking about AI today again. Not something I dig into too often. But taking this opportunity to talk through this new resource available from HubSpot, BehindHubSpotAI.com. A great example, again, of HubSpot trying to do their best as the manufacturer of the product to answer questions, make it clear what the product's doing from a black and white, this is how it works perspective, so that I, as a partner, as a consultant, as a guide, can help users understand what's going on. It definitely helps me understand. So we did a little bit yesterday to walk through this. And before we jump back in, AI is, at the end of the day, is just a tool, but it's a tool that's not going away anytime soon. And resources like this, especially if you're a HubSpot user, or you have HubSpot in your business, make it very hard for the excuse of I don't know what's going on to hold up anymore. So a lot of the reluctance to use AI to change processes, to support AI, to support teams that need the help with all the hats that you're giving them. All the information's right here. So we've got 57 records about AI features in HubSpot. So at least when it comes to HubSpot, you have a lot of resource at your disposal that I think in this format is consumable, is digestible, so that the uncertainty and the ignorance of what AI is doing, you're going to need to work on better excuses if you don't want to use AI, because all of that's right here for you. And if a leader's seeing this and a HubSpot admin hasn't brought this to your attention, help them out. Tell them you want to see stuff like this. This kind of stuff helps answer your questions. I think maybe in the next couple of days, sometime soon, I'll bring some context and show how this stuff kind of works in the portal. But I wanted to focus on this as a resource to answer common questions as it relates to AI and how HubSpot uses AI. So we left off yesterday talking about creating CRM records. I found this one something I wasn't quite clear on what it was getting at, so I highlighted CTAs. Content creators can highlight existing text to rewrite, shorten, expand, or change the tone of the text they select. So, okay, this is a lot like all the other edit text features. and it's just being used inside the CTA's tool. So I don't think we did one of these yesterday. So data used to provide the services. Highlight commands use the text the user has highlighted to edit, along with text surrounding the highlighted portion and the title of the piece of content they're working on to gather further context. So this makes sense to me in the case of everywhere else I've seen this highlight command work. So I'm curious if this only works if it's on a page or if you're in the CTA tool itself, to get that additional context. If it's in the CTA tool itself, it's in a vacuum. It doesn't have much to work with, but if it's on the page and giving you that context as well, that would be really cool. And hopefully it's doing stuff like helping us go from passive language to active language when we're trying to get people to take action. Data retention and deletion. HubSpot will delete, anonymize, or return your data when you terminate our services in accordance with our agreements with you. All input, output, and usage data is stored in a secure, user-restricted database. AI service providers that provide the technology underlying some of our AI products have their own data retention and deletion policies. For example, OpenAI retains your data for 30 days. Our third-party AI service providers do not use your data to train their models. And so we've seen a few cards that have just this first paragraph or both paragraphs. And I would imagine it relates to whether or not HubSpot is listed here versus OpenAI. Does the AI system process personal data? Personal data may be processed only if user inputs include personal data. So if the text of the CTA includes your birthday for some reason, I don't know why you do that, but if it does, your birthday is going to be processed as a part of this process. Is your data used to train the AI system? No, it is not. So while it's being used for the process, it's not being, ingested and being applied to other spots of OpenAI. Model input. For example, if you're writing a blog post and you want to use highlight commands to rewrite the first sentence of the second paragraph, HubSpot will take the highlighted text, the title of the blog post, and the paragraph before and after the highlighted text, and send that as a part of a broader attempt to OpenAI. HubSpot will ask OpenAI only to rewrite the highlighted text. So again, it makes sense in the context of a blog post. And now I can't resist seeing what happens when we try to do it with the CTA. So let me just grab another window here. And let me find a good blog post we can work with. Actually, I could do one of these. Just bear with me one moment. If you've seen this work in action with CTAs, please share your experience in the comments. Looking for blog. Let's pull up partner blog here. Okay. Let's bring this one over. So if I want to come in here and let's say I want to insert call to action. And let's create a new one. And we're going to start from scratch. We want an embedded button. It's going to go to one of our pages. Just say delivered. Yeah, I'll just say the next blog in the series. Add button text. Say see the next blog in the series. All right. So not there. Grammarly wants to help me out. Okay, but that's not the help we're looking for. So let's say save and apply. Got options. All right. Let's just review and publish. And we'll be done. Okay. Now we're going to come back here, refresh the page. Call to action. Insert. And we've got a replace CTA. So I'm curious, and maybe let's just double check. Maybe there's a beta that we got to look for. Product updates, beta, CTA. All right, let's look at AI. Okay, not immediately seeing it. So maybe I'm just misunderstanding what it's trying to tell us here. Maybe this is the CTA that's referring to, and not actually the CTA's tool. So any PM seeing this? Anybody that can clarify this for me? The nuance of all of this stuff makes it, layer after layer challenging of, do we mean a CTA like this, or do we mean a CTA like this? But helpful to understand what's happening behind the scenes, as long as we understand what we see here. Model output, OpenAI generates a rewrite of the highlighted text. Okay, so is that in the blog or is it in the ACTA itself? So I didn't see anything in the CTAs. I'm thinking it's wherever we want to put the text, but putting text in the CTA is a thing that happens. So I want to make sure it's not referring to that. And we have it in marketing and content hubs. All right, a great one to start on. Let's keep going. So we'll go to page 2 here. Again, that's why I don't necessarily like to prepare too much for these episodes. I think there's a lot to be learned in how some organic, train of thoughts happen as at least for me, as I see this stuff the first time. Everybody's going to see that word CTA and have their own thought process or their own immediate impression of what we're going to be talking about here. So one of the next ones I wanted to highlight was, let's go landing pages, generating images. Not done an images one yet. Description. Content creators can generate images in the HubSpot file manager inside a landing page. This AI product is available to Marketing Hub customers who signed up before April 2024 and all Content Hub customers. Super interesting here. There's a lot of transition, happening inside of HubSpot as it grows and launches products. A big transition right now is the switch from CMS Hub to Content Hub. And there's definitely a lot of talk of the impact of that. But what we're seeing here is what I feel that they're trying to do is we're trying to actually clarify, and create better understanding between, where all these tools sit in regards to a subscription or in regards to seats. And if we look at, our drop down over here, like landing pages, was one of those things that used to be in Marketing Hub. It was a staple of Marketing Hub. And as CMS started getting more serious and people started seeing that, there was always this confusion between landing pages and, website pages. And then we have the blog too. There's this confusion when you have access to Marketing Hub and landing pages, but not website pages. Is there a difference? Do we need CMS? Why can't we just do everything as a landing page? Right? Now we're trying to, and I love where they're going with this new navigation. So basically, are we creating something that can be considered a piece of content, right? Or are we sending it through channels, right? If we're sending it through channels, then it belongs in the Marketing Hub. It is a promotional activity. It's communication, right? If it can stand alone as a piece of content, right? There's all this overlap. Obviously, if social post is content, but then we're pushing it out via social, which is channel. Still lots of overlap like that. But I think it makes sense to start and separate out, usually in a social post or an email, while they serve as content themselves, you're trying to drive people to your website or to the blog or to a podcast or to other forms of content, right? And that's what we see here in this dropdown. Data details. Data used to provide the services. Image generation uses the user's prompt to generate an image. Again, we have the same data retention and deletion story here. Personal data only if personal data is given. Not using your data to train the system. Using OpenAI DALL-E 3 for image generation. Model input. For example, if you'd like to create an image of a peach pie, the user adds a prompt like a peach pie sitting on a cottage window to cool on a sunny summer day. HubSpot will take the user's prompt and send that as a part of a broader prompt to OpenAI. HubSpot will ask OpenAI to generate 2 images based on the user's prompt. OpenAI generates 2 images, then sends them back to HubSpot and the user. And this is why I started this show. Like, it's so hard to talk about this and not want to just show it at the same time. So I'm going to do that. In this case, we are going to use this blog that we have open. And I'm going to try to show as an example, try and match this prompt and see what we get. So here, we'll get rid of the CTA, but let's insert an image here. And we will click on this generate button. We will add this prompt. Peach pie sitting on a cottage window to cool on a sunny summer day. Because nothing makes me feel like a partner like a peach pie. And we used oil painting here. And we have any dimensions here? Nope, but looks like they all came out of square. So we're going to say square. We're going to click generate. You can see this progress bar up here. Almost done. So how close did we get? These ones definitely think like more oil painting-y. So I just wanted to show that as an example. Like, one of the most frustrating things is to hear somebody that has experienced AI in their own way. And this is why this is a challenging tool that's just so hard to describe the impact of until you experience it yourself. But more than once, right? Like, if you thought that I was going to put in this prompt and I was going to get stuff very similar to these, and I got stuff very different, the AI is not serving you because of where your expectations were at, not because AI isn't doing what it was built to do. Like, it served your prompt just fine. This is where prompt engineering and, understanding where the inputs, like all the information it's using to create this output, is important. So just because you gave it a 1-sentence prompt with no additional context and it did not give you the answer you needed or made some unforgivable mistake, that does not mean the AI is not working, can't work, can't help you, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And I'd surmise that even just taking yourself through this BehindHubSpotAI.com, you'll learn a lot about AI in general in the process, right? So we got this available to us in Content Hub Starter, Professional, and Enterprise, or anybody who had Marketing Hub before April 2024. Next. We had, we were on landing pages, emails, we have all the same stuff, images, text, page meta descriptions. This one is a really cool one, in my opinion. Meta descriptions are always something that, when you try to think of in the moment, they're very hard. So you're like, okay, I'm going to start this once I have all my ducks in a row, including meta description, or I'm going to get to it later. Neither of those things usually happen. So you end up, after the fact, scrambling for meta descriptions. What this is doing, content creators can now generate page and blog meta descriptions based on the copy of the page using AI. This AI product is available to all Content Hub customers, as well as CMS Hub and Marketing Hub customers who signed up before April 2024. And in these moments, and there's these little description moments all over the platform, like meant to help externally facing stuff and SEO stuff, but also meant to help like internal users, like descriptions for workflows can be done with this generation activity. And what's coming to mind right now as I talk about this, and let me just show an example here. If you look at our website pages and just go to our media homepage, we've got all our shows on it, and we go to edit and settings, general. So both here we have page title and meta description. The meta description in this case is discover proven B2B tactics that drive real results in heavy industry. Join Chris and Salim as they go in depth with experts to uncover effective marketing strategies. Watch the show, subscribe, and listen on your favorite podcast platform. All right, let's say we take this out, and I'll copy it before I do and just put it somewhere safe, just in case it leaves the clipboard. I'm going to get rid of this and then use Content Assistant to generate meta description. Join host Chris and Salim on the unofficial HubSpot industrial podcast for proven B2B tactics in heavy industry. Dive into HubSpot for manufacturing success. So this is an example of, it's hitting on one piece of the page here. We've got a few different shows, one of which is this, right? So we don't want to rely on this exclusively, but maybe it helps us to create the meta description. Also, effectively, since this is AI reading the page, Google's, as an example, has a bunch of robots, and it might provide a window into, how they might be reading the page, especially as their AI, is used for search results. So if you see this, if you do either of these things and it doesn't tell you what you expect or what you want it to, or you think it's not good, or, instead of blaming the AI, like maybe it's a hint that your page is not providing the message that you want it to provide. Right? So think about that. Another like editorial mechanism to kind of help you on your journey, writing better, clearer copy. In many cases, if the robots can't understand it, humans might not stand a chance. So similar information here, not using the data to train the AI system, sending this to ChatGPT, and they are giving us a meta description in return. We've got this in marketing hubs and content hubs. So hit the back button, and we'll make time for one more here. How about generate audio? We haven't done that yet. Podcasts. I mean, if you're at all touching podcasts and haven't seen this, like I did a breakdown on, when I unboxed Content Hub, but I think I'm going to be hitting on a specific, like one show about podcasts. It's really cool on what they're trying to do or what they're providing with this tool. Create podcast in the case of generating audio. What's happening? We are creating podcast episodes with hyper realistic AI generated audio from text, or upload your own audio files. Designed to empower marketers to create, produce, repurpose, and distribute high quality podcasts more easily and efficiently. That's what we're doing most of the time with AI, right? Empowering creation and production, right? We're not doing it like tip to tail for you. You're still there. You're still needed there to ensure the quality. Like the text needs to come from you. I don't recommend getting a text prompt, getting an output, and then immediately putting it into the AI generated audio. Please don't do that. This feature uses the user's written content. So your written content has to exist for this to be valuable for you, to generate an audio output. Same deal here, not using your data to train the system. Model provider and type. This is a new one for me, OpenAI TTS-1-HD. Model input. In the podcast editor, users have the option to input text in order to generate a podcast version, text-to-speech version of manually written text. HubSpot will take the user's written text and send that as a part of a request or request to OpenAI's text-to-speech API. HubSpot will ask OpenAI only to generate the audio of the user's text. Can the user see or review all of the generated outputs? In all these cases today, it's been yes. The user can review and regenerate the output before publishing the podcast. OpenAI generates an audio file for the post, then sends it back to HubSpot, and we make it available to the user. There is so much, like, it's going to be so easy to think podcast and then say, okay, this is not valuable. I'm not doing podcasts. But if you can think for a minute and you're bought into the concept that there's different learning types, everybody learns differently, and you're comfortable with seeing, is your data used to train the AI system? No, right? So it's contained, between you, HubSpot, and OpenAI, without it being trained, without it being put into the training information that AI uses. So there's no way for somebody else to access it at this point, is my understanding. And you have a content library of PDFs, application notes, technical notes, white papers. Even if it's just an effort to train internal individuals, like starting to turn that content into audio and video is now at the click of a button. So when you get frustrated that new people are not taking the time to read through all your technical documentation to understand the product like you do, or you're not sure why people don't want the PDF anymore, or they're not reading it, or you're having to answer the same questions, people learn differently. Like I have a lot of trouble like sitting down to read a book. When I discovered audiobooks in 2017, like my life changed. Like literally, I would not be here right now if I did not start listening to podcasts and audiobooks. I would not have gotten that self-education that I ended up getting, and I'm still getting today. So there is stuff like this where if you have access to this, or when you're thinking about Content Hub outside of the website and why why they shifted this way, right? This is the challenge. The challenge is keeping up with content management, production, staying top of mind. When you can take an application note and you have the written version, you have an audio version, you have a video version, now it's much easier for you to share that with people and have it consumed. And it's just something to consider. Like, why, Chris, why would I put an application note in audio format? It's like, well, we know how often people have headphones in, and if they're on the go, and you can send them a message that is an audio file instead of a PDF that they need to read, like maybe they listen to that minute or 5 minutes, right, instead of reading it. Or maybe they listen to just enough to say, okay, I want to read this later, right? So this is the kind of enablement that, one, AI is allowing for, and two, the way that HubSpot is developing their AI tool set is just way ahead of the game compared to most platforms you're going to run into. These tools exist out like in the ecosystem all separately, but when you start to put them together, man, that's true empowerment. So we'll end it there today. Please check out this resource if you have questions about HubSpot AI tools, or again, even if you want to learn about AI, this might be one of the easiest ways, like in a more contextual way, to say, okay, how is it working with data cleanup? If I'm wanting to generate audio images, what's happening there? When it's trying to predict things, we haven't talked about any of that. Everybody wants this stuff to work so well, like lead scoring and forecasting, and it's gonna be so nice when we can rely on AI for this. Guess what? You need good data, which needs to come from a good process for this to be possible for you. Another show. With that, check out this site, BehindHubSpotAI.com, and find the opportunity for your organization, and let's grow. Have a great day, everybody.